Multiplying fractions is easier than adding or subtracting them because all you have to do is multiply straight across the top and then straight across the bottom. So for our first one, 4 times 5 is 20, and across the bottom, 5 times 8 is 40. It's a good idea to simplify your answer. It doesn't change it, it just makes it easier to work with. 20 over 40 can also be written as 1 over 2 because 20 is half of 40. Let's try this one. 3 times 7 is 21, and straight across the bottom, 9 times 3 is 27. This one's a little harder to simplify. What we need to do is find the greatest common factor between 21 and 27. A number's factors are just numbers that fit evenly into that particular number. So for 21, we know that 1 goes into it 21 times. 2 doesn't, but 3 does, and it goes in 7 times. 4, 5, and 6 don't go into 21, so we're done. Let's try 27. We know 1 fits into it 27 times. 2 doesn't, but 3 does, and it goes in 9 times. So 3 is our greatest common factor between 21 and 27. Our last step is to divide by 3. 21 divided by 3 is 7. On the bottom, 27 divided by 3 is 9. When dealing with mixed numbers, we need to first convert them into improper fractions. In order to do so, we have to cross multiply the 9 with the 4. 9 times 4 is 36, and then add the 3 on top to make 39. On the bottom, the 4 stays exactly the same, so our denominator doesn't change. Over here, we have 5 times 3 is 15. We'll add 1 to make it 16. Remember, the 3 on the bottom stays exactly the same. 39 times 16 will give us 624. On the bottom, 4 times 3 is 12. 12 is our greatest common factor, so when we divide by 12, we'll get 52 over 1, or just 52. How about 2/3 of 9 frogs? So the of turns into a multiplication sign. The 9 we can turn into a fraction by throwing a 1 underneath it. 2 times 9 is 18. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 is our greatest common factor. So once we divide the 18 by 3, we'll get 6 frogs. How about 4/5 of 25 crabs? So the of turns into a multiplication sign. The 25 we can turn into a fraction by throwing a 1 underneath it. 4 times 25 is 100. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 is our greatest common factor. So when we divide 100 by 5, we'll get 20 crabs. How about 15 1/4 of 8 ladybugs? Now we know right away we'll have at least 15 times the number of ladybugs. The of turns into a multiplication sign. 15 times 4 is 60. We'll add 1 to make 61. On the bottom, the 4 stays exactly the same. Multiply by 8. We'll turn that into a fraction by throwing a 1 underneath it. 61 times 8 will give us 488. On the bottom, 4 times 1 is 4. 4 is our greatest common factor. That gives us 122 ladybugs. There are 45 fish in an aquarium. 1/5 are swordfish. How many are swordfish? So here we'll take our 45 and turn it into a fraction by throwing a 1 under it. We'll multiply by 1/5. 45 times 1 is 45. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 is our greatest common factor. So once we divide 45 by 5, that'll give us 9 swordfish. A pumpkin grows 5¼ inches in one day. How much would it grow in a week? So here we'll take our 5 times 4 and add 1, and that'll give us 21. On the bottom, we'll keep the 4 the same, and we'll multiply by 7, because there's 7 days in a week, and turn that into a fraction by throwing a 1 underneath it. 21 times 7 will give us 147. 4 times 1 is 4. And this is correct because it can't be simplified. But you'll notice that the number on top is bigger than the number on the bottom. So it's an improper fraction. To turn an improper fraction into a regular number, just divide the 147 by 4. And that'll give us 36.75 inches, which sounds much better. 4/5 of a city go to an amusement park. 5/16 of them went on the Ferris wheel. If there were 4,000 people in the city, how many rode the wheel? So here we'll take our 4/5 and multiply by 5/16, and then multiply by 4,000. Across the top, 4 times 5 times 4,000 will give us 80,000. 5 times 16 times 1 is 80. So 1,000 people rode the wheel.